So now let's go back into the pages of history. What the anthropologists and the historians write about, what the scholars dismiss. Whenever nature creates something, that something has to follow a rule, a law. You will not find penguins in the desert. You will not find polar bears in the desert. He could only live in the cold. But you will never find a gorilla in the snow. That is not his home. He has to obey that law, that cosmic arrangement. It is like the little frog in Puerto Rico. Cookie? 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 That frog sing you to sleep. But if you remove that frog from Puerto Rico, 9 kilometers away to Pecos, the frog dies. Because you have interfered. You have interfered with the cosmic arrangement of that frog. The frog was not placed in Pecos. Black people were not placed in America. We were placed in Africa. But with that African placement, there was a mandate. Yeah, there was a mandate. Black people, well, let me begin the process of showing what Mama was about. I happened to be in Brazil some years ago. And there was a conversation with a Mexican and a Frenchman. The Mexican was telling the Frenchman, you shut your mouth. We Mexicans make tequila. You Frenchmen don't make no tequila. We are the man. And the Frenchman started laughing and said, you forgot who made champagne. So all of us started laughing because we know that the Frenchman won the argument. So the Mexican said, and what about you, Sebi? What do you have to say about your people? Well, I have a little bit. So the Russian Mladenov said, you better watch what you say about your people. I said, why Mladenov? Because your mama didn't have no clothes on 500 years ago. My mama didn't have no clothes on. I looked at Raul, the Mexican, and said, Raul, did you ever Mladenov said? He said, yeah, that your mama didn't have any clothes on 500 years ago. And the Frenchman said, why don't you defend her? I have to defend my mama. He just did. But he didn't know it. You see, it's a matter of interpretation. The Frenchman, the Russian said, my mama didn't have any clothes on. He had no idea what he was doing. I said, Mladenov, why did you, of all the items that mama didn't have, you stopped at her clothes? But as for her clothes, you mean to tell me that my mama didn't have no clothes on and walked the jungles of Africa for millions of years among her brothers and sisters and friends? Nobody was jumping on her? I said, Mladenov, you just messed up. You were showing us that mama lived in a highly ethical society, a highly moral, that she could walk around without no clothes, and nobody was jumping on her. What kind of folks was living then? And if you want to know where the grain were, you take your clothes off during the summer and you walk the streets of Brooklyn and see what's going to happen to you. We begin to see that the contradiction that we have accepted is to be the very thing that caused our demise. Mama, the most powerful of all the genders or the gender. Mama, to tell you and I that the lion is the king of the jungle? Oh yeah. Who teach him what he knows? Who teach the lion what he knows? His mama, isn't it? Because you never saw a cub in the forest following daddy. Never would you find a cub following daddy. He follows mama. Because she and she alone have the secret of life, how to raise a child, not a daddy. I am a daddy many times. I never tell my children anything about one now. Since I is here, my 34 years old son, I haven't seen him in some time. I never beat Cesar. I never tell Cesar anything. So now, we come back to Mama. Mladenov said she didn't have any clothes on. She didn't have any clothes. She didn't have any doctors. She didn't have any medicine. She didn't have any hospital. But she didn't have any disease. You know why I know that Mama didn't have any disease? It's simple. It's very simple. That's why I know that she should not have been looked at and categorized as a savage. Because she lived in an alkaline world. And it is alkalinity that brings about tranquility. Mama didn't need a hospital. She lived in an alkaline world. And it is Mama that prepared me for this journey. How? How does she connect the dots? Very simple. Mama didn't have any money, she didn't have any alcohol, she didn't have any prostitution, she didn't have anything that we have today in the civilized world. Mama lived connected to the laws of life. She couldn't make any mistakes because she didn't read any books.